The German nation has been at the forefront of world history for more than 2,000 years. Once a small group of tribes fighting the Roman Empire, and later the arguably most powerful mainland European nation of their time, the influence of German culture and their people have permeated throughout every single inhabited continent. Yet many people have no idea how far German influence has spread. So that's why today we talk about that time when Germany had colonies. The first area of colonization we will discuss were the German African possessions. The 4 German colonies in the area were organized into 3 separate entities. German East Africa, or Deutsch Ostafrika, consisted of the Tanganyika colony. Inside of the Tanganyika territory, there were also the Rwanda-Urundi and Wituland subregions, along with Tanganyika proper. These areas of Africa were subjected to surprisingly intense warfare during the First World War. During the war, German General Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck led an intense 4-year-long guerrilla warfare campaign and fought the Belgians, British, Portuguese, and their allies in the region. The largest and most developed of the German overseas possessions, German East Africa helped the German Empire project power deep into the Indian Ocean region and helped to safeguard their East Asian possessions by having large military and army bases. However, most of these areas were not manned when World War I occurred, so large-scale warfare in terms of massive army battles were not possible, leading general to do guerrilla warfare. The second area of colonization we will take a look at is the area known as German Southwest Africa, or Deutsch Südwestafrika. The colony consisted of the modern-day country of Namibia and was the least developed of any of the German colonies. This is due to the massive Kalahari Desert taking up most of the land area. Nevertheless, the colony proved to have some significance as it became a stepping stone for German merchant vessels as they headed out into the East Asian colonies. This colony was also the only place where German settlers came in large numbers because of the opportunities of copper and diamond mining. While most of the area is desert, there was actually some agriculture that was encountered and taken up by German settlers at that time. Not only did German settlers move there, but also Afrikaners from the recently incorporated Boer states. The third and final area of German colonization in Africa was German West Africa, or Deutsch Westafrika. The region consisted of Cameroon and Togoland. Cameroon was focused on agriculture, primarily the export of tropical fruits to the German mainland, and was also planned to be the staging ground for a massive railroad to connect German West and East Africa once Belgium was conquered. However, this never came into fruition because of the First World War. Togoland was quite an anomaly. The small colony was a self-sustaining colony, all pretty much ran by the native Africans with mild German administration. Lomé was the capital of the colony and was considered the prettiest city in West Africa. The colony had an extremely high level of development and exported cash crops such as bananas and cacao to Germany. Moving away from Africa, we will now take a look at the German Pacific possessions. The area was known as German New Guinea, or Deutsch New Guinea. The area consisted of a handful of small island colonies in the Pacific. The Solomon Islands, Bougainville Island, Nauru, Marshall Islands, Mariana Islands, Caroline Islands, and Samoa were all the small islands, while most of the large land area consisted of the Bismarck Archipelago and Kaiser Wilhelm Land, the latter two making up what is today the country of Papua New Guinea. The colonies today make up many of the nations in that area, like Papua New Guinea, Palau, the Federated States of Micronesia, Nauru, the Northern Mariana Islands, and Marshall Islands. Only a handful of Germans settled in this area, and not much wealth was extracted from this area. That being said, there was a moderate amount of trade and agriculture that was practiced on these small areas, along with forced labor agriculture and plantation-style agriculture. That being said, still, not much wealth was extracted from the region, which still plagues the area to this day. The final area to be covered is the German-controlled areas in China. There were 3 of these areas all joined together: Jianhao, Sheifu, and Qingdao. Qingdao was by far the most important of these areas, and all three served as important East Asian trading hubs and were an important destination for German goods from Africa and the mainland. Qingdao was also even the site of a major military engagement between the Germans and the Japanese in World War I when the Japanese tried to silence a German naval base. Following Germany's defeat in the First World War, the newly created Weimar Republic lost control of every single colony that the German Empire had control of. Being that the German colonial empire lasted only around 30 years, hardly any lasting effects of the colonization can be seen today. That is, with the exception of the country of Namibia in Africa. To this day, German is still a national language, and many towns retain their German namings. This can best be seen in the capital of the country, its name being Windhoek. Today, there are still around 30,000 people in the nation that are direct descendants of the original German settlers, and few more Afrikaners who do speak the German language. That being said, the Germans weren't light rulers. Across all of their colonies, forced labor was used and many of the natives' lands were confiscated. Additionally, the Germans committed the genocide of the Herero and Namaqua natives and Namibia. This action still influences the relations between Germany and Namibia to this day. That being another reason why not much German culture remains, since the only German-speaking country outside of Europe isn't really receptive to German diplomacy. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed learning something new and want to support the channel, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. With that, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.